Dear Intrepid Travel Company, let's talk about my recent tour. Firstly, small groups for other companies is like 20 people. But there was only a dozen of us on our Intrepid tour. What's with that? Head to intrepidtravel.com for more info.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Second Take Variety Hour.
The Second Take Variety Hour is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Welcome to the Second Take Variety Hour, the only show on the internet that does not claim to be lactose-free. And I'm Sebastian.
I have 3 words for you.
Please, go on.
I'm Alex.
Oh, come on.
I said I've got them for you. I wasn't going to give them to you right now.
I'm going to say I'm is too, kind of. Conjunction? Does it count? Semantics. Anyway, Andrew's not here. He died. But we have 3 special guests instead of Andrew, which is nice, right?
Lovely. Yeah.
Wonderful. Guys, go around the table. Introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name's Sarah Stephenson, and I'm an independent filmmaker, and I'm back to discuss more about about Attack of the Cat People.
Welcome back, Sarah. And who else do we have here, guys?
Hi, I'm Jessica Ham, or Jess. I'm an actress in both film and musicals, so I also sing as well.
Wonderful.
And I'm Pete, Peter O'Hanlon, and I'm one of the main actors for Sarah's movie.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good.
All right, so a bit of history. Have you guys ever worked together prior to this film? Just jump right in.
No.
In a word.
I haven't either, just throwing it out.
Yeah, that's true. When is Alex's big break coming? Is it soon or?
Look, I'm pretty busy at the moment, so
super
maybe
busy.
soon. I don't know.
Okay, so let's talk about this production. So we've actually had Sarah on previously to talk about Attack of the Cat People prior to it starting production. Well, yeah, production? No, well, you were sort of pre-production when we spoke, weren't you?
Yeah, we were in pre-production mode, but now we're on to we're in the middle of making it at the moment, the filming part to it.
So this is very interesting for me. Normally when we have filmmakers on, it's after the thing is done. And they're just sort of, here's my thing, spruik, spruik, spruik. It's really interesting coming in and actually seeing the before and the middle sort of stages of it. So I'm going to have a heap of questions for you.
It'll probably be one more installment in this series then.
Yeah, I feel like we're building up to some sort of epic final chapter of this trilogy with, here's the film, I assume. Is that how that ends?
Yeah, it might happen.
I think it's definitely going to happen.
Pretty sure it's going to happen.
Yeah, like
you know, I don't want
there's so much foreshadowing going into this film being made that if it doesn't happen, the third act has a problem. All right. So you two, we haven't met before. Tell me about it. You guys have been involved in this project. Let's start with your roles, like basic outline.
So I play Diana Lawrence. She's a professor and an environmental scientist. She's a bit feisty.
Yeah.
Doesn't like to be pushed around. She's, very much like, I am in control of my own destiny. And that kind of can cause a few problems in her romantic life.
Okay.
But I think underneath it, she just wants to be loved like everyone else.
I'm sensing Mulan. Very strong, independent woman.
Yeah, but less coordinated.
Okay.
So maybe Mulan before I'll make a man out of you.
Okay.
So wait, there's time for romance with all the cat people around? I just assume, don't get me wrong, I love my wife, but the second there is a minor emergency anywhere else, it is every man for himself. And I am faster than she is, so that's great.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that.
Okay, and what about you, Peter?
Well, so I play Captain John Baker. I'm the guy who hopefully saves the day, and I also have to deal with feisty Professor Lawrence. So that's sort of where I come into it, trying to deal with both of those worlds. So, yeah.
What's the most complicated one for your character to deal with?
Definitely dealing with Diana.
It sounds right. Yep.
Definitely more complicated. She's very feisty, so.
Okay. So when you guys came in, obviously auditions were held for the roles. What did you guys get to pick your own pieces that you auditioned with, or were you kind of given there's the material to go with? How'd that work?
No, Sarah gave us in my case, Sarah gave me part of the scene for Captain John Baker to audition for, and just went in on the day and auditioned for that.
Oh, wonderful. Same
Landed
for you?
it.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same for me. Just went in, had 2 parts learned, and I was like, this just looks like a really cool project. I'll learn both the roles and see whatever lands. And this one just seemed to fit.
So there was another role that you auditioned for as well?
Yeah, there's another female lead in the movie called Janet.
Okay.
Dr. Janet Reed.
Well, Sarah, do you want to tell us a little bit about that Janet character? Because obviously you'd be more familiar with it.
Well, I based it around another character I know from Psycho. So, you know, the woman called Janet Leigh. That's where I got my idea for the name itself. So that's where I got her particular name. And she also plays another damsel in distress in my film project too.
Okay, now you're testing my film knowledge. It's been yonks since I've seen Psycho. Do we call spoiler alert for Psycho? I feel like it's well past its due, right?
Look, I haven't seen it, so
well, Alex, cover
don't
your
spoil
ears.
it for me.
Is Janet the first of our female leads in Psycho, or the second?
The first.
The first one? Okay, perfect.
Wait, is this a Hitchcock?
Yeah, I think we have to review it.
Did we?
I think you watched it.
Is
I
it
think
the
I
one
made
where
you.
it's like they go to the place and then someone dies and then it turns into a completely different movie.
I mean, technically that was correct.
With the mother and the son up in
Yes.
the house.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I have seen Psycho. Yep.
Yeah, Janet Leigh plays Marion Crane or something.
Oh, Marion Crane. Yep. Okay. Cool. I knew.
Okay.
So it's named after the actress. See, I was trying to remember the name. So I was like, I swear there's a Marion in that film. Okay. I'm on board. I remember things now. I did the film thing where I watched it and wrote stuff.
Yeah, me too, probably.
Yeah, and
probably didn't
Diana
write
is
anything.
based. Her character's name. I think I based it on the Discovery of Witch's character, who is named Diana. When I was working on the name for Diana, it was either between Diana or Daphne. So I picked Diana because it's much more romantic and had a bit of. I kind of really fell in love with that kind of name, so that's pretty much why I chose Diana as my lead character's name.
Cool. And I
And
will say,
also the Wonder Woman reference, just slap that in there.
oh, good. See, I was going to say, I hear Daphne, I think Scooby Doo, which don't get me wrong, I love Scooby Doo, but if you go back to like classic Daphne, she's an absolute idiot. So it's like not a flattering name for a character in that way.
Which one's Daphne?
The idiot. So there's 2 girls in the whole
no,
thing, and one's particularly
Velma.
smart. Yeah,
Velma's the
Velma's
smart
the smart one.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
I think calling her dumb
Daphne's
is
the redhead.
just yeah.
Yeah.
And I think calling her an idiot's wrong. I think she's just a klutz, right?
A little.
She's
yeah.
just a little bit
She's just there for
uncoordinated.
Fred, or whatever the blonde guy's name is.
Fred. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fred's an asexual being, thank you. I don't think he has a Have you
He's
have you
Ken.
seen Fred? He's a Ken, exactly. All right, so you're in the middle of production now. How far into it are you? Oh, I say the middle, but yeah.
Well, we have done a few scenes, and it's not because we've been the scene's been very busy. It's just sometimes the weather got in the way, so we had to do things rather really quickly and precisely whenever. But most of the time it was all cloud coverage, which was good because cloud coverage is what we need because when we're dealing with lighting and controlling the atmosphere when we were filming.
Now, we did ask this last time, but I've forgotten. Now, I know the film is in black and white, but are you filming in color and then converting, or filming in black and white?
We're going to go just the first one you mentioned.
Yeah, so straight into color and then convert after the fact? Okay.
Yeah,
Because I was just
better.
curious how much lighting is going to play into it, obviously, with that, with having to move around the colors there. Interesting.
Yeah,
And-
I have my director of photography. He's been doing an awesome job. His name is Hayden,
Shout out to Hayden.
and he's married to the girl who's playing Emma Janet Reed's in the story too. So
Awesome.
they're a great team to work with too.
So whenever I'm doing my research for other films that we're covering, there's always a point, not always, but most films always have a point where there's always someone throwing in like some huge element of the story maybe shifted or changed in some way during the production. Has it been so far fairly strict onto the script that you wrote, or have you found that it's been evolving a little bit as you've been filming?
Yeah, well, we did have to do a spot of changes here and there, like a little bit of moving around the characters, for the scene. It was that last minute and stuff, but it seems to really come together in a good way.
Yeah, good. And how have you guys been finding the whole thing? Obviously, I'm not to put you on the spot, literally talking to the writer, director, and producer next to you. But
She's right there.
How much do you need your paycheck?
But no, have you guys been finding the production in general though? Like, is it a good time? Like,
Yes.
I'm not an actor. For me, the whole idea is terrifying, and I'm just so like, yeah. But I assume that you guys have some sort of joy going into this whole thing, like just getting a chance to jump in front of the camera, right?
It's a great cast. It's a really great cast to be a part of. I think that's one thing I didn't even think about going into it, and it just seems to have evolved like this family atmosphere. Like we've got all the guys playing cat people, and they're so imaginative, and they're just really in their bodies, and I've learnt so much from them. And then we've got like Emma, who's playing Janet, who is an amazing, strong actress. She's brilliant. She knows so much about film, and just everyone is so passionate about what they do, and we just have such a great time. It's just, I feel like it's all laughs. I don't know.
I exactly what you said. I think it's been amazing, especially when the cat people get out. I mean, they get dressed up. They love it. They love to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And they really go for it. So
I need to know about these cat people right now.
when the cat people are on set, it's awesome.
Okay, so
and everyone else is.
What's that?
It's
What's
like
the
a
makeup
party.
like there? Like, what are the cat people actually? Someone paint me a verbal
Is it
picture.
prosthetics or just?
Is it actually cat
Is
people?
it-
We'll let Sarah
Yeah,
say that
this-
because I don't want to give anything away.
I'll answer that
alright, sorry.
question.
Sarah question.
Yes, it's the prosthetics. We put them special prosthetics around their noses to make their cat, give them a bit of a cat appearance, and put a wig on their head and a bit of some fake fur and some long nails on their fingertips.
And they're getting like really into the movements, are they? You were saying like they're
Yeah, they're doing a lot of choreography. They're spending a lot of time rehearsing together, and just their movements of just from the initial rehearsals that I seen to what we filmed, it was really, really good, and they've come a long way.
And if I could just add, this guy right here, Pete, is also amazing with his physicality. He's really great with like he's really great. So watching him work with the cat people as well has just been like, it's really awesome. Like I'm actually in awe.
good job, Pete. I guess.
Yeah, good work. Is there any? This might be giving away a bit of the plot or anything, but is there any experimenting on these cat people? Like,
Why is that? No, let's take that question. Thank you.
Scientifically, not experimenting.
No, I know what you mean, but why did you
Do
first
you?
go like, are we putting them in cages and jabbing them with things? Like,
Kind of
Yeah.
Doctors.
experimenting.
I don't know that you're both doctors playing doctors. So
No, he's
No, I'm a naval captain.
oh, captain. Sorry.
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier to you guys that Peter's playing a captain in the Navy,
I'm
and
sorry, I
he's
just-
the hero and lead that to in our story.
you put anything in front of someone that isn't a Mrs. or Mr. and it's Doctor, right, Alex? Like that's three kinds of people you get, right?
Kinda. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
captain.
Other actors are playing doctors and scientists in the in the production project.
Okay, so with the cat people, you obviously we focus on their physicality. Did you take on people like dancers? Because I know when it comes to like the casting of monsters in a lot of other films, they tend to go with people that are obviously really flexible. And I think of like terrible example, Silent
Not
Hill.
me.
Not Alex.
Yeah, I was looking for that sort of thing when I was first started casting the cat people. I wanted to make sure my cat guys were very flexible, like they can do a lot of muscle movements, and they're going to be doing a lot of activity rounding around the set, jumping and doing a lot of movement. I like to make them look like they're showing a lot of energy and imagination in my story.
Are these cat people like on all fours or standing up, or can you not say? I'm just
They're
curious.
biped.
They sort of they kind of loll up a little bit, like sort of like something out of Hunchback of Notre Dame, or one of those weird mummy movie, the old mummy movies you probably would have seen. They were
With Brendan
Lyle
Fraser.
Chang. No, Lyle Chang.
Yeah, the Brendan Fraser one, the famous.
yeah,
That's the most famous
old
mummy you can think of. Yeah.
No, I was thinking of Lyle Chang. The old one.
The originals.
The original. I don't like use the new movies as my
That's
my
fair.
scale. My
Especially
scale.
not the Tom Cruise one.
No.
Don't mention that.
I actually never saw that, but I heard it was an absolute train wreck of
I
a film.
also saw that, and
No,
it is a train.
so
Yeah.
sorry for your loss.
Yeah, I prefer to watch old movies, as I said in my last interview. That's where all the inspiration comes from.
So I a little bit off topic, but I've just been going through and watching on Netflix Mystery Science Theater 3000, where they go watch old movies that are famously bad old movies and just make fun of them the entire time. And I still enjoy just, even ignoring the jokes the cast are making over them, I still enjoy watching those kinds of films, even the bad ones. There's a certain charm they have to them that you just can't get anywhere else because it's so sincere. Like they are just doing their gosh darn hardest, but it's no one's winning. Have you given it a shot yet at all?
I have not. Time.
Time's a difficult one,
I barely get through our main podcast movies. You know this.
I can't take on any extra reading, sir. Please no.
No.
All right, so out of the scenes you guys have filmed so far, any favourites? Anything that you're allowed to talk about that you'd like to give particular spotlight to?
Yeah, there was maybe one scene that I was mentioning before with the cat people. That was a really, it was at night, all the cat people were out.
Yeah, we kind of filmed it till 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
There was one of the cat people, and I kept telling him, "You got to leap at me, you got to come at me," and then we get through that scene, and he's like, "What?" He had to sort of choke me, and I was like, "I want you to try and choke me out. Go for it. See if you can do it."
Give it your best
shot. So we had this, give it your best shot. So
I find that so interesting. I work alongside a lot of professional wrestlers locally, just because I do things for them in the background there. And it's surprising for me the kinds of things you have to you can get away with without actually murdering someone. And it's interesting to see how you guys kind of have to tackle that when you have the advantage of having a camera that can be repositioned as opposed to just, out in the open.
No, I tend to go with a lot with the method type stuff myself. I really like to feel like I'm in that situation. So if I'm really getting choked out, I'm going to react as though I'm getting choked out, and that can really come across. I find that's just me personally. A lot of other people do it differently.
Yeah,
but for me, that's where I'm at.
Okay. Cool. So just experience-wise, where have you guys come from prior to this project?
Yep. All right, I'll go first. So I've done 15 years of theatre. Theatre is my passion. I love it. And then I kind of just last year decided that I wanted to try acting in a different sphere and in a different way. Cool. And I did a class on film acting and I fell in love with it. It's so different and amazing, and it's a lot more intimate. You don't have to be quite as big to reach the back row or anything like that.
Well, Alex here has experience. He's done a fair few musicals. He's one of those jerks that can sing and play instruments, which I can't do either of, which is why I hate him.
Okay, to put this into perspective, I've done 2 musicals.
There's two.
And the last one was in 2008 when I was in high school. So he's definitely...
But he can sing and he can play fucking 9 instruments. I hate you so much.
Yeah, well...
But yeah, you've seen obviously the exaggeration that's required for on-stage performances rather than, I guess, on screen where you can really tone it down. They can, they get really into it there.
There's things that you can really delve into in your, Peter was mentioning, your method. You really can delve into that because you have the time. When you're in theatre, you're backstage changing. You don't have time to get into your character as much. You really have to just power through. So, yeah.
What about yourself, Peter?
I have a bit of an interesting background. I did 12 years infantry in the army.
Oh, okay.
Operational tours overseas. That was my life basically from when I was 19 up until 30 odd. And then all of a sudden that stopped and I was just looking for a new passion, new career, something to get me excited. I couldn't find anything. Everyone was telling me to go overseas and be a mercenary, bodyguard, policeman. And none of it sort of connected with me. And then one day I had this opportunity to do an audition a few years ago. And I did it and I loved it. And ever since then I've been picking up some pretty good roles, done some Hollywood type stuff, some smaller stuff, and now this is my first lead.
Awesome. The second I saw you, I had the distinct feeling this person can kick my ass. And you just confirmed it for me, which is great because I know my instincts are intact. But
I don't know how your feelings toward this actor is, but I thought Dave Bautista a little.
I would take that as a compliment.
That's a compliment.
Good. Yeah, good. Okay, good.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Just don't say The Rock or look out.
Definitely an Austin fan. All right, and Sarah, I think we spoke in part about the YouTube series that you were doing prior. Was that the last project you did before this? I'm trying to remember now.
Yeah, it was the last project until now.
Yeah. How are you finding the difference between doing like the episodic style on YouTube as opposed to now doing like the feature length?
Well, in those ones, we only had one angle to work with, film angle, shot angle. And for this one, we've been exploring different angles, different shots, different and moments of how long the scene will go for. And it's been really extraordinary for me to get a little bit of more of an educational side to watching other people, how they would have the crew and the cast work on these sort of things. And I get a little bit of I learn a lot from those by watching other people do this sort of thing, and I get a little bit of bit more educated in this sort of field. I mean, every filmmaker probably feels that once they get started on a new film project, you're always learning. It's a learning curve for every time you step onto the stage or step in front of a camera or standing in back of the camera and just start working on your next film project. Yeah. You're always experimenting, always finding new ways of filming. That's one of the things I really love about it.
That's great that you're taking so much on board as you're going through and learning so much. That's really good to hear.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot.
So you said you came from like that with the previous project, like that one angle. That was a web series, right? That was told like a video diary. Am I correct in that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was literally just told kind of from a webcam perspective, wasn't it?
Yes.
So you're taking a huge leap here, moving into like a feature length production here. Which were you nervous when you first started it?
I had a few butterflies, but other than that, I felt really excited and very energized to work on it.
And the nerves, I'm guessing, they're going away bit by bit as you keep going and getting used to like being out there and doing it, or
yeah, it's getting more easier with practice.
That's good. It's good.
Have you had any Michael Bay moments?
Excuse me?
Define, please.
Define, please. I'm not familiar with him or her.
Next question.
that was a good choice.
Yeah. Have you blown up on set at anyone?
Wait,
or
that's what you think Michael Bay's famous for? No, he's famous for explosions, not for blowing up on set.
It worked differently in my head. I was like, Michael Bay, explosions. Have you exploded on set?
Have you had any Christian Bale moments? No?
Is he a director?
No, but he did. Have you had any? Please, you ask your question again, please.
Have you had
Alex.
any Christian?
No.
What is his name?
It doesn't matter. Okay. Have you had any sort of like freakouts on set or anything like that?
I have freaking out a couple of times, but yeah. I try to focus on what we're going to be doing on the scene.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I guess everyone has a freak out when they're working on their first major feature film.
No, absolutely. And you have so many roles as well for yourself.
Like that guy you mentioned, obviously. But
Michael Bay was not the perfect choice.
No, not even slightly.
He's a director.
Yeah, but I imagine even a lot of famous actors have freaking out, and it's not recorded for prosperity.
Except for Christian Bale's, which was, and it was hilarious. But yeah.
I'm gonna try to explain, but it's not always the best moment to remember the freaking out moments. Just try to focus on the good moments in filmmaking. You know, you're creating magic. You're creating a connection with the characters. You're trying to bring that out onto the big screen or little screen in such cases.
And just on that point, if I could just say, sometimes those moments are the most defining in the whole process, because I think we were all freaking out, if I can say that weekend, because of it was just raining and it was just everything was against us. And then we pulled through on one of the shoots that Peter was talking about before, where we had all the cat people on set. There was so many people on set, and we just really sort of like worked together so hard to get that scene, all those scenes done. Yeah. And I think that made us so close as a group.
Cool.
Yeah, when we were on set, we also had advised our actors to become both crew as well as cast, as in they have to help with any of the assisting the props or any of the makeup. If some of our leading actresses had a bit of skills in makeup, and a bit of one of our our actresses, I think it's Emma. She's skilled at using contact lenses, and she was able to help out our cat people when they were going through problems with putting the eye contact lens in.
Oh, good.
Which is good.
I hate contacts. Can't do it.
Yeah, it was great that everyone had a
that's good.
skill. Even one of our makeup artists was a licensed, first aid officer. So that was great in case if any of us got injured or on set.
Yeah, good.
See,
Very multi-talented cast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great to have a multitask.
And to give you that bit of ownership to it all as well. Like the end result is, we've done like everything that we could.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I think we all got a piece in it. We've all put ourselves into this, so we all want to make it successful.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think if everyone puts in, we're all going to get something out of it.
Yeah.
awesome. See, I'm a bit of a funny one. I love a bit of drama for myself, like in my life. It's not healthy, but whenever like something at my work goes wrong, it's kind of exciting for me because otherwise it's just, and for me, it's another day. And I'm like, I guess an uneventful day is a good thing, but my God, it drags on for me. So I'm always like, an emergency. Yay. Oh no. Oh, it's also bad, but also exciting. Oh.
I'm one of those people who believes adversity breeds prosperity. So,
I think we just picked up a BTS videographer as well, so hopefully we might catch us.
Yeah, and we brought a new member of a team, a new member of the crew on board. So we're gonna probably get some footage, behind the scenes footage out there for everyone to check out our project.
I saw you guys mention this on the Facebook page, and I was actually like, of course it's a thing. It's how stupid of me. The idea that a film would actually take on someone to just do the behind the scenes filming, which I never thought of. Even when you watch like the special features on a DVD and you see how it was made, it never once clicked to me. Somebody was specifically hired just to exist behind the scenes to document it all. It seems it's so simple, but just as someone who's not a part of that process, it was like, it's kind of like a light bulb moment, like doy, of course.
I think it's because our behind the scenes photographer, like that Dave Fox, he just produced, got all these photos that were just so amazing, and they've just gone like wildfire on social media.
You should see them all. They're really incredible. I mean, I love how Jeff he's put into working on this project with us. He's captured the whole our film shoots really well. Cool. I'm really impressed with him.
And it gives us something to remember the whole experience by.
Yeah, archiving the events as they unfold.
Yeah, cool.
Now, there's a fundraiser going on alongside this project to help bolster it and get it made to as best as it can be. Do you want to go a little bit into that at the moment? Because you guys are obviously a lot more familiar with the details than I am.
We're trying to, again, I've put together an Indiegogo campaign together. So if you guys could go and check it out, and we have all sorts of gifts waiting for you guys there if you want to, fundraise us.
Some of those include actually being able to get a copy of the film. Is that right? Am I correct?
Yes, correct. Mendo.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can get a copy of the digital version of that said movie, or a poster with all our actors and crews, autographs on it, or a copy of the music from said film too.
Cool. Wonderful. So we'll put those in the show notes, obviously. So anyone that's listening that's interested, just jump on in there. There'll be links to their Facebook page as well, so you can just jump on board, have a look at this project.
Do it.
Now, guys, before we finish up today, anything you'd like to mention? Anything at all? Literally, open up the floodgates. It's fine.
Any questions for us?
Oh no, don't do that. I hate that. I hate that interview tactic. You're like a job interview. Do you have any questions? Yeah. First, wait. Yes.
First of all,
I actually find it's more beneficial if I interview you.
Yeah.
Is that Step Brothers? But yeah, do you guys have anything that you'd like to talk about before we wrap up? Because I would hate there to be something you would want to just tell everyone about this project that you were holding back because I asked the wrong question or something.
I'd just love everyone just to get behind it. It's an indie film. Myself being a new lead character, there's a lot of talent on this film.
Yeah,
the cast, the crew.
Yeah, guys, it would be nice if you guys help both my cast and crew out. I mean, by funding us, you're helping them achieve their dreams too.
Yeah, it'd be really amazing just to give those people the opportunity just to get themselves out there, because obviously they've all got careers and ambitions and things like that they want to get sorted. So, yeah.
And on that note, thank you to everyone who has funded us thus far. It's just been a great help, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you could see me now, I'm blinking right at the microphone.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, guys. It was a great time. Alex, do you have any final words you want to make?
Thanks very much for coming on.
Yeah,
I was kind of thinking of something witty, but
It did not happen.
No, I'm sorry.
yeah, it's great to
But,
meet these
yeah.
guys again, and I'll see you guys when we do the film premiere for it, guys.
Yeah, we got to get that
Yeah.
that third chapter in when the film's made and released.
Yeah.
Gotta
Be sure
meet
to
up.
release, mention a date when it's all finalized and put under
It
wraps.
is so at like any like ballpark like month.
Like, do you think is it this
Well,
year?
I was
or-
going to think September, but we're going to be doing more filming in September. So if it's...
Yeah, it might cut it a bit
It
close.
may cut a bit close to either December or maybe next year. We haven't finalized
Not gonna rush
that
it.
detail. I mean, I want to make sure this film looks
As good.
polished as possible, and that's one of the reasons why you guys, we need your help to help, raise the funds so we can make this film a very memorable one for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Quality is the most important thing
Yeah,
with these
quality
kinds of projects.
and all that stuff.
Perfect.
Yes.
Well, once again, no, you please before I hit the outro button.
It's definitely. I don't know if you've seen any of the X-Men films
Mm-hmm.
lately, but quality definitely should win.
Yeah.
Not just.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Speaking of X-Men, our wardrobe and prop person or designer and supplier, she's actually been on the one of the X-Men film sets.
Oh, wow.
She's done a lot of props and wardrobe for those said films.
I was hoping you were going to say, speaking of X-Men, our costume designer is actually Hugh Jackman.
her-
That would be
her
like
name
my
is,
ideal situation.
Yeah, her name is Tracy Rose Spark, but she's in her website, in her Facebook page is Tracy Sparks Designs. So if you guys want to check her out, please.
Yeah, I've worked with Tracy many times, and she's next level.
Yeah,
she's amazing.
She's
She is amazing.
So if you're an independent filmmaker, she's the best person to talk to if you want to make a period type film or some kind of period related film.
Awesome. Now, do you want to finish your little personal wrap up before I'm going to hit that button in a second?
No, that,
Awesome. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, guys. We'll catch up next time.
Mm-hmm.
So, what should I listen to now?
We are Castology. This is our podcast about podcasts. We are your castologists, Patrick Shearer
Liz Best.
and Zancy Weber.
Each week, we'll bring you 3 of the best and sometimes not so best podcasts around. We'll also do the hard work and trawl the RSS feeds to find the newest podcast that should be on your radar.
And then next week, we come back and tell you what we thought of the recommendations and bring 3 new sparkling podcasts to check out.
Now, will we always agree with each other's picks?
Probably not, but hey, you're clever. You know that's how reviews work.
We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any podcatcher of your choice.
That's Not Canon Productions podcast. 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 Productions Podcast, 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 Productions